North of Grey Garden and east of Rocky Narrows Park, we see a fenced-off area encircling a bunch of wrecked and ruined cars. The fence is mostly intact, at least from the front, so to enter we have to creep around to the southern side. As we do, we discover Jalbert Brothers Disposal. There's even a unique Jalbert Brothers sign posted right outside the main gate. But as we approach the main gate, we discover two corpses, and they're both children of Adam. One has his head inserted inside a large tire. The other lies dead on her back, and we see a small smearing of blood. Both of these are at the gate, almost as if they were trying to leave. How exactly did they die? Moving inside, we see smoke in the distance. There's a ruined bus, and climbing in, we find another dead child of Adam, with more blood smeared by his corpse. Out of the bus and moving on, we suddenly get attacked by a bunch of mole rats.
Don't mean to make you nervous, but I don't think we're alone. We're back in business. Winning, that is.
Okay, so that could explain why we see so many dead children of Adam, though usually if we find the remains of a human that was killed by a beast, that body is dismembered or in the process of being eaten. These guys are all splayed out, with blood oozing from their bodies. And just north of the main gate, we see a bit of a barricade made from plywood, scrap metal, and ruined cars. There's a staircase leading up to a platform, and on top of the platform we find another dead child of Adam. This guy is interesting. It looks like he died sort of leisurely, sitting on the edge of this platform. I suppose he could have been shot by a stray bullet and knocked backwards, but we don't see any bullet holes nearby. Just a big smear of blood beneath his body, as if the blood just started to ooze from it. On the eastern side of this platform, we find two ammo boxes. Heading down as we move west, we find a cooking station, and we find another child of Adam lying dead, leaning against the cooking station, almost as if he died while cooking up food. Continuing west, we go round to the other side of this scrap wall. Another mole rat leaps out to say hi.
Ammo isn't cheap. Can we just pay you to play dead?
We see something dangling from the car being lifted. Moving forward, we find a handmade tripwire. After disarming it, we can disarm the nearby grenade bouquet. Looks like the children of Adam set up some traps. Interesting that these haven't been triggered. If the children had been killed by invaders, you think it would have been. On the other side of this pile, we find another child of Adam corpse. This one also just lying out. Continuing east just brings us back toward that guard post, so moving north we see two structures. One is a trailer and one is a bit of a shack. Moving up towards the trailer first, we find tires on fire, giving us the impression that the children of Adam died recently. There are stacks of scrap metal over in the corner, and then a door leading up inside the trailer. Here we find a couple of mattresses we can use to sleep, some crispy squirrel bits and scrap. Moving through the door, we find a chem box, and turning south, we find another corpse. This one is just labeled corpse, not child of Adam, but she is wearing child of Adam long brown rags, so she must be a member, and she must have died a similar way. Heading out of the trailer, we can loot a Nuka-Cola machine between a cigarette machine and an armor workbench. On the ground near to the cigarette machine is a bottle cap mine. And heading around to the back of the trailer, we find 4 highly irradiated toxic barrels. That leaves only the workshop itself, and as we head inside, we find the last corpse. A man lying on his mattress on top of a puddle of blood. It almost looks as if he died in his sleep. In the middle of the room, we find an interesting sight. A bunch of highly irradiated toxic barrels piled up in a corner. As we get close, we pick up 14 rads a second. I had to pop a Rad-X to survive this. Lying amongst the barrels, we find a mini nuke, and stacked on top of them appear to be some nuclear-powered pre-war fusion car engines. Near to another mattress is an end-of-dungeon steamer trunk, and then turning around, we find a floor safe right next to a terminal called Brother Edmund's Journals. It's locked with an advanced lock. After hacking it, Word of Atom. Within this terminal ye shall find the word of the holy Adam, divined unto brother Edmund, lowly scribe and follower of Adam's shining way. May ye who read this find the illumination ye seek. Blessed be. In the first one, Discovery. Praise Atom! Our pilgrimage is at an end. He has blessed us with a site ripe with his radiant power. This holy resting place of the brothers Jalbert shall be our mission, where we shall build a shrine to Atom. We are truly blessed. In the next one, Savages, a group of Philistines approached, bearing the promises of glad tidings and touting their wares like whores. We saw past their charade. They claimed they wished to trade with us, when all they had to offer were lies and temptations. We stayed the course, and bathed the unbelievers in glorious radiation. They are with Atom, now and forever. Oh, so they murdered a bunch of wandering travelers, just because they wanted to trade with them. In the next one, Glory unto Atom. The shrine! Oh, the shrine! We collected Atom's power in barrels and the machines that once propelled the old world autos. We are meager workers, not artists, but our devotion can be seen in the shrine. A place for all believers to gather and pray is here at last. Glory be to Atom. And at last we begin to understand. We can use the terminal to unlock the nearby floor safe. So this small band of children of Atom found and turned Jalbert Brothers' disposal into their home. They then went around trying to find highly irradiated pre-war relics like toxic barrels and car engines to build a shrine to Atom. Could it be that the process of collecting all of these highly irradiated items and then subsequently worshipping by this shrine caused the children of Atom to absorb too much radiation? Could they have all simply died from building and then worshipping at this shrine? But if that's the case, we've got a bit of a problem, because the children of Atom are all about radiation. They hang out at highly irradiated spots and wield radiation weapons. You'd think we'd find more corpses like these guys who died from radiation poisoning. Moving out of the workshop, we find a gate to the north. Here we find a novice-locked tool chest, and Deacon shares his thoughts.
I can totally see why they chose this magnificent location for a shrine. I feel closer to Division already.
Nearby, we find a gun trap and its trigger, a tripwire along the path. If we walk a short ways west of Jalbert Brothers' disposal, we crest a hill to find some boxcars on a train track. And as we approach, a ghoul began to crawl out from under the trains and accidentally triggered a frag mine. There was a body on this train. Hopping on top of it and moving into the train car, we find the corpse of a ghoul settler. She was already dead when we arrived. No idea how she died. She's wearing road goggles and a chef's hat, and it looks like she was living out of this boxcar. We find food and scrap tossed all over, and an expert-locked box safe. Leaving the boxcar, we can move to the ground. We find the corpse of the feral ghoul that triggered the frag mine. And here we find another boxcar with toxic radioactive barrels pouring out of it. This must be the source for most of the barrels that the children of Atom at Jalbert's Brothers used to build their shrine. And now we know why the ghoul is dead. The ghoul made a home for herself in one of the only places where she thought she was safe, by a boxcar filled with radioactive barrels. After all, who would come here? No one but another ghoul like herself who was immune to radiation. But the nearby children of Atom who had moved into Jalbert Brothers were attracted to the radiation, killed the ghoul who was living here, and then began hauling these barrels back to Jalbert Brothers. Incidentally, if we walk north up the tracks, we find a unique scene. It's not a random encounter, it's a static location, but it only appears once per gameplay. We find a graveyard, and nearby, a raider kneeling over a freshly dug grave. I waited around for a while, but she didn't say anything. And if she sees us, she will attack on sight. So we really only have two options, to either walk away or kill her. I decided to do so with a good old-fashioned Shady Sands shuffle.
Wrong move, pal. Oh, son of a bitch! Legs hit.
In the freshly dug grave, we see the body of another raider. So this raider's friend died. And instead of just leaving her body to rot, she was in the middle of burying it. And it looked like she was really moved by her friend's death. Back to the mystery at Jalbert, brothers. After finding an experience like this, you'd think we'd find dead children of Adam in lots of highly irradiated spots, but that's not the case. For example, if we head to the crater of Adam in the glowing sea, we find all sorts of children of Adam just wandering around.
May the divide bring you peace.
Excuse me.
In the end, we are all Adam's children.
We talk with Mother Isolde as part of the primary quest, and during this conversation, we have an opportunity to ask her how she's surviving this radiation.
How have you survived in all this radiation?
That is Adam's unique gift to us, the true believers. He has brought us here to this place, a place that cannot harm us, so that we may worship him, so that we may spread his word to others. That is our calling, to deliver Adam's message to a world that does not wish to hear it, to show Adam's power to all.
So, some of the children of Adam have what they call a unique gift, an immunity to radiation. An immunity to radiation without being turned into a ghoul. Is that possible? Or is she just dosing up on Rad-X and Radaway? Well, we learn more when visiting the nucleus during the Far Harbor DLC. When we arrive, we see a man kneeling and praying before the submarine. Brother Devon.
Hi there.
Where? Please, leave me Oh, sorry. For Adam, I will not falter. Adam above, I await your word.
But he doesn't look very well, he doesn't sound very well. And we learn more about Brother Devon when we talk with nearby Zealot Ware.
You're the new convert. You happen to see Brother Devon, the sickly guy praying off by himself?
I think so. Is he the one with the propellers and the periscope? I mean, he's kind of hard to miss.
No, he'd be the skeletal one with all his hair falling out. See, Brother Devon, he's been on a fast, a long one. No food. Only irradiated water, waiting for a sign from Adam. Look, me and Devon, we weren't born with Adam's blessing like everyone else around here. Rads, they hurt us. Now Devon thinks fasting and refusing meds till he dies is gonna get Adam to grant him some kind of revelation or something. I've tried talking to him, but he won't listen to me anymore, and everyone else in this place thinks what he's doing is a brilliant idea.
So neither Brother Ware or Brother Devon were born with Adam's blessing. This leads us to believe that some people after the war are now born with an immunity to radiation. This must be a new post-war mutation, very different from what happens with ghouls. From what we understand about ghouls, the people who turn into ghouls don't evolve to adapt to radiation, but instead were born with a predisposition to turning into ghouls instead of dying when exposed to high doses of radiation. These children of Adam who are blessed with a gift, I think instead are enjoying a mutation that evolved within humanity after the bombs dropped. The children of Adam then interpret this mutation as being a sign of Adam, a testament to their devotion to Adam. We learn from this drama involving Devon and Ware that the children of Adam do allow people who don't have this unique mutation into their ranks, but they see people who have the mutation as being more highly blessed by Adam. And they encourage people who don't have the mutation to continually expose themselves to radiation, even if it means their own death. For after all, the children of Adam are ultimately a death cult, with division being the ultimate goal of any child of Adam. And this must be what happened at Jalbert Brothers' disposal. Brother Edmonds and the rest of the children didn't have the mutation. They were just as susceptible to radiation poisoning as anyone else. But doing what children of Adam do, they collected nuclear material and worshipped it until ultimately that exposure killed them, which I'm sure was perfectly fine with all of them. It may have been their ultimate goal all along. This idea about mutations is corroborated in Fallout 2. While exploring Gecko when working with Harold, we find a man in a shack who is not a ghoul. His name is John, but the other ghouls here at Gecko call him Lumpy. He was a resident of Vault City, but the people of Vault City kicked him out when they discovered that he was radiation resistant. The ghouls of Gecko refer to non-irradiated humans as smoothskins. But then here John arrives, exiled from Vault City and immune to the radiation leaking out of the Poseidon power plant of Gecko. So by their logic, he's not the same as a smoothskin. He must have lumpy skin, and so they called him Lumpy. John may be an example of one of the first people who had evolved a radiation-resistant mutation. This may have become more prevalent as the years went on in the wasteland, so that 200 years later in the capital wasteland and then in Boston, we find people who are completely immune. This confuses them, and so some of them believe that it's a sign from Adam, and so they joined the children of Adam to worship him. So yes, some members of the Children of Adam are indeed mutants. Not in the way of super mutants or in the way of Harold, but mutants in that they've evolved, making them resistant or even immune to radiation. Did you discover Jalbert Brothers' disposal in your gameplay of Fallout 4? And what do you think about this mutation? In 3, 4, 500 years, will most of humanity be immune to radiation? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I publish many Fallout videos each and every week here on my channel, so if you don't want to miss my next episode, be sure to subscribe and to click that bell notification button. If you have and you're still not getting notifications when I publish new content, try following me on Twitter. I manually update Twitter whenever I publish any new content. I have a shirt shop with completely unique designs you can't find anywhere else. My designs come on shirts in a variety of men's, women's, and children's sizes, and in a wide array of colors. You can find them on other products as well, like smartphone cases, pillows, posters, mugs, stickers, prints, etc. So if interested, you can find a link to my shop in the description below, or you can click here. If you like what I do and you want to support me in a more personal way, consider becoming a patron on Patreon or a member here on YouTube. But more than anything, I'm just so glad you're here watching this video with me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon with more brand new videos.
Remember, kids, only you can put out nuclear hellfire.
I hate playgrounds.
You know that staticky sound? Yeah, it means we should get the hell out of here.